Okay, working with clay. This is air dry clay. You're going to get a small lump like this. The first thing I want you to do is break off a little bit. That's going to be for the lid. We're making a pumpkin pot. It's like a little jack-o'-lantern that you'll actually be able to keep things in. The first thing you want to do is start kneading and squishing your clay so it becomes a nice round firm ball. If you start to see these little crickles, these crackles in here, that means your clay's a little bit dry. You can take some water on your fingers, give it a bit of a rub down. Do not put your clay in the water. It'll get too wet and you won't be able to work it. You can also roll your clay on the cloth. Don't worry if it picks up a bit of the paint from the cloth because we're going to be painting them at the end. Once you've got a pretty reasonable kind of shaped ball that you're pretty happy with, pop it down. We're going to make a hole by putting our thumb right in the top and just pressing down. You might need to use a bit of pressure. Take it back out again. Then you can start to make a pinch pot. This just means that you pinch with your thumb and your finger around the edge of the pot. Again, put some water if it gets dry. Pinching, 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 pinching. You'll see the hole starts to open up more and more. You want the edges of your pot to be maybe, thicker than your finger, but not thinner than your finger. You don't want anything to get too skinny, because then it can become fragile and it can break. Because this is air dry clay, we're not actually going to fire the clay, it's going to dry out in the air, and then we're going to paint it with a simple acrylic. See how as I'm moving around, the prints from my thumbs are also helping to make the shape of the pumpkin. Great. So that's my basic pumpkin shape. You can use a toothpick to sketch out your jack-o'-lantern face. Again, we'll be painting this later, so it will become clearer. That's a pretty rudimentary little jack-o'-lantern face, but we'll get the idea. Now this is for your little lid. Again, we're rolling, 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 rolling. Getting a nice round ball. Pressing down, because we're making a flat lid that's going to sit on top of our little jack-o'-lantern pot like a hat. Now, pumpkins have stalks. So what I'm going to do here is pinch in the pot at the top. Keep pinching until I get a little protrusion, and I'm going to work this, work it and work it and work it until I get a tiny little stalk. And then you have it, jack-o'-lantern pot. Alrighty, now we're going to make some kind of scary creature. Firstly, I want you to break off a piece of clay. We're going to hold this aside. This is going to be for things like tails and ears and extra spikes that you want to add. Then with our main piece of clay, just like the jack-o'-lantern, we're starting out by just kneading it, rolling it. Got a little bit too wet there. Let's give it a squeeze. Roll it until we get a nice round kind of shape. Or at least as close as you can get. Then, just like the jack-o'-lantern, we're going to pinch, put the thumb in, pinch, pinch, pinch. I'm rolling it in my hand, I'm moving my thumb and I'm pinching with this finger and my thumb. Okay, but unlike the jack-o'-lantern, this time I'm going to turn my creature forwards like this. Then I can start to add my creature features. I'm going to make some kind of angry animal. This angry animal is going to have two bulbous eyes that are going to sit up here. It's going to have a tail and it's going to have spikes, might even have teeth. Now the most important thing about working with clay is the slip and score. With the pumpkin we were working with all one piece, so this wasn't so important. But whenever we want to attach something, we need to slip and score. This is where your toothpicks become really useful. Scoring means making a crosshatch with the toothpick, and slipping means creating a little kind of area of clay and water that we call slip. You can tell it's slip, it actually feels slippery on your fingers. You do this on both sides of anything that you want to attach. Doop. So this creates an impenetrable bond between the clay, so it won't come apart. Normally, if you put two pieces of clay together, when they dry, they just fall apart. When you slip and score, it's like they're locked in place. That's how you get your little eyeballs. Yep, stick them down. You can do a wiggle test, make sure they're really firm. Okay, you can start to see my creature. This creature is going to have a tail. Just making like a regular snake. You can also roll it on here. I might cut it off so it's a bit squarer. Again, you need to slip and score. Creating the slip, creating the score. Do this here too, slip, slip and score. And voila, we have a tail. I might want to curl this around a little bit. What other features does this creature need? I think it needs some feet, maybe some teeth.